Yeah. Seems that the people are little discouraged. You know, Java is not easy. You know that, Luis, right?
Yes, yes.
All
Java
right.
writing
So
code is easy.
let's just have a discussion here. Let's talk about the method designs. Okay. So I'm gonna create another class here. I'm gonna create a package and say um, maybe methods. Yeah, methods. Okay. And now I'm gonna create a class named method design. Maria, how's it going? Okay, since Maria cannot hear me, or I cannot hear her. Okay, she's muted. All right. So let's talk about method design. So I can have here a public method, right? Um, or actually, this is not the one that I was able to create this one because remember that
Can you
method
hear me now?
yes, methods
Okay.
cannot overlap. Okay, I can have the PSV, for example, the public, the void main, the main method, and then inside have another method. That doesn't happen. It is not correct. Okay, you can have a method inside a method, a method declaration because you can have a method call inside a method, but not a method declaration. Okay, so let me create just a method void jump. Okay, so this is just a method. All right. Now the name of the method is jump. The return type is void, and this is the access modifier. Okay, it's public, so it can be accessed from anywhere. It's just public. But this is the return type. Okay, void is a return type. We're not returning anything in this method, and this is just the name of the method. Okay, so these guys, this um, this guy here, let me put it this way: void public. Sorry, void public. Let's say jump to. Okay, this will not compile. Why? Because access modifiers go before the return type. Okay, this is the way it is. So whenever you see a return type before the access modifier, that won't compile. Okay, so let me put it here. This will not compile. And as you can see, it showed me an error right there. All right, we can get an error message right there, right? I can comment this out, and still I see, you see, is it on identifier expected? So it's supposed to be before, not after, before the return type. Okay. Okay, so that's part of the design of a method. Okay. Now we can have another one, void jump 3. Okay, this is another one, right? And you don't need to put public here. Okay, it just will take that. It will compile that way without putting the access modifier. Right? Let me see something here, guys. One moment. Find here. I can declare a public method and make it final. And guys, as you know, the word final, it means that it cannot modify. Okay, final. That's what it means. Okay, it cannot be modified. Okay, it cannot be overridden. It cannot be modified there. So that's the word final. Okay, when you have a final variable, like for example, final int num. Okay, 0. Usually final variables are named like this. Okay, because it's a constant. There's no way that you can later do this. This will give you an error. Why? Unexpected token, because this variable is final. Okay, that's why you get that. But if I do this, still getting an unexpected token here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because this needs to be inside a method, not outside. Okay. So I can put this guy here, like maybe somewhere here. Right. And then inside this guy, I can say num equals 6. You see? That way, not outside a method. It has to be outside the method. Okay? So if I say there final, you see, it says final. When it says here, it says cannot assign a value to a final variable. Right? That's what final means. Right? Once it has that, you cannot alter the value of that variable.
So basically, it's allowing you to declare a constant, right?
That's a constant, correctly. That's another way to name it, constant. Same with the method.
Having the value itself, then you use the name of the value.
Correct. So you can have that. You can also have public, static, okay, final, void, jump, 5. Okay, remember this, this, it gives you a warning, right? But it's not incorrect. Okay, so you may see the word final here, or you may see here, still this, it doesn't matter. So in the case of final and static, they can be, in the beginning or at the end. It doesn't matter. You can change the place of that. Okay, it's a static method declare final. Okay, it gives you a warning, but it's not incorrect. Okay, because it's telling you, it's just like telling you remove the final modifier, static method declare final. That doesn't matter. Okay, just give you some suggestions here, like to remove final modifier, change access modifier. Okay, but it's not incorrect. So you may see that in the exam as well. Okay, or you can see this one. Let me put it like this, right? And you can put final before and then name it 6. Because, they cannot have the same name. Two methods with the same name. No, they cannot be there. unless you are overloading the method. But we're going to talk about overloading here later on, not now. So static can be before. We're going to talk about static later. And final can be after, or final can be before, and then a static after. So those are correct ways. Okay. Now,
So what's the purpose of declare method final? Is it that whatever you have within that method cannot be changed? Or is it the output of it is final? In other words, it's a constant.
yeah, I'm going to let Luis answer that. Luis, what do you think? Luis, can you hear me? Luis? No? All right, not a problem. When we talk about overriding, I don't know why Luis cannot hear me. Maria, when we talk about overriding, overriding is that you can change the content of the method. That's going to happen when you have a parent and a child. So the child can override the method of the parent. Remember that we have inheritance in Java, or in object programming language, we have inheritance. So you can, the child can inherit all the methods from the parent. So once the child inherits all the methods from the parent, the child can override the method. The content that is inside can be changed by the child. When you have a final method in the parent, the child cannot override the method. The method will have to stay the same. It cannot be overridden. So you want to make that method final, you declare it in the parent. When the child inherits it, it has to take it that way. It cannot change it. Let's say that the parent has a method called public void print, right? And the method is sysout. Hi, how are you? Okay, so the method has content, right? So this method, let's say it is in the parent class. When the child inherits that method, the child can also use the method because it's a child, right? So the method is going to be void print. It's going to give me an error here because I have the same name, but I'm going to say print one, okay? Now, that method that's coming from the parent, the child can say, I'm happy. So you are overriding the method. You're changing the content of the method that was in the parent class, right? Here, you will have the same name, not print one and print. You will have the same name because it's inheriting that method from the parent. As overriding exists in Java, you can override the method. But if you say that the method is final, you can't override it. You will have to use this mandatorily. You cannot change the method. Okay? So a method that is final cannot be overridden by a subclass. A subclass is a class that is inheriting another one. In other words, the child.
So you're saying the output of that final method
Correct.
cannot be overwritten, right?
Yeah. Yes, what you override is the content of the method. Okay? It's final. So the child class cannot change the method. That's why it's final. Right? Continue. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep,
Okay.
I did. Thank you.
So we have public array void and then jump 7. What's wrong here, guys? What's wrong? Can you tell me, can you guess? Just give me one guess. Can you guess why this is wrong?
Because there is jump 3.
Huh? No, this is jump 7. But the error is here. Guys, what is this? What is this? What is void? What is void?
Null, 0.
No, what is void? I said that void is something. What is void?
Final.
A type.
A type. So we're returning void. We're returning nothing, right? So void is a return type, right? And what is array?
Another type.
Correct. So, and also array is not recognized. So in other, I mean, if you want to put an array, you would say this, right? So you're returning an array of integers, but it says here, identify expected. You having 2 return types here. This is wrong. You only have 1 return type. You either has which one, right? Of course, it's going to give me an error here because I have to have the return statement here somewhere, right? Like maybe 1, 2, 3, something like that. You know, like a return type. I have to have something, okay? Like, I don't know, maybe here, this. So I say int array, right? Array equals this, right? And then I return array. Okay, that's how it works, right? I have to return an array, right? But when you have void, the return type is nothing. So you don't, you don't need this. This is not correct. You don't return anything when you have the void type. Okay, so another case would be something like this. Maybe now you say sys out, and then you say arrays, right? Arrays to string, and then array. Okay, something like this, and then you call the method. Okay, but when you have, you know, like this thing here, that's incorrect. Okay, this won't compile. This doesn't compile. Okay, so watch for double return types. That is incorrect. Okay, right? Okay, so now we continue. Let's say that you may have this, because sometimes I try to trick you. Public static, no, public string, int float, double, jump 9. So what do you think about this disaster? Okay, what's going on here? So what is going on here, guys? Huh?
You have a mumbo jumbo return.
It's a disaster. You're returning. We need some disaster recovery plan here.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you have a return type string, a return type int, a return type float, and a return type double. That is crazy. Okay, I mean, no one's going to fall for that, but they still put it in the exam. Okay, the other one that we can have is final public, right? And then void, and then final again, and then jump 9. See, here we have modify final not allow here. So final is either before, before here, or after public, right? Like here, right? But not before the name. That is, even when I remove this guy, right? And I put public, you see final is not allowed there. Okay, so this one will not compile. Okay, this will not compile as final is not allowed where it is now. Okay, good. Okay, good. So now we're gonna have another guy, and we say final static public void, and then jump 10. This one doesn't give us any error here. This one is fine. This is correct because we're going to final in the first place. So we are saying static method declare final. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Doesn't matter. And then we have another one says string int public void jump 11 like this. So we have a similar case here. We're having two return types, a string and int, and they are before the public access modifier. So this one will not compile either. So guys, different examples of what could happen if they misplace the keywords, the words here, the access modifiers, the return type, all these guys in a method declaration. So this will not compile. Okay. Right. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. So let me create another class here in methods, and let's say method test. Method test. Okay, let me call it method test. Okay. All right, good. So let me create this guy, I'll be a friend, and let me just create an object of the class method design. So we say method design, and then they say method design equals new method design like this. So let me see what I have access to. So with the object, I have access to jump, right? Jump 3, jump 4, jump 7. I have access to all this, guys. So let me see if I can split. Can I split this? Split vertically, horizontally. So maybe I can do this. Good. So maybe, okay, method design. So I have access to, okay, one moment. Because I am just declaring this guy here. So I have access to jump here, right? Jump 3, jump 4. You see, I don't have access to jump 5, right? I don't have access to jump 6 because they're final. So you can see here, final. Maybe because if I do this, then I have access to jump 5, 6, 10. Why? Because there are static methods. With static method, I don't need to create an object. With simply putting the name of the class, I can access the static methods. Okay, so we create an object for the methods that are not static, or variables that are not static. For the ones that are static, I can simply put the name of the class and then access those guys. Okay, with that, simple. So if I can make this one static, right, then the ball game changes. So I can say this, and then I have access to 3. You see, by just putting the word static. Okay. Now,
Can you do MD again? MD alone.
MD alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it hasn't been saved yet.
So it did have 4. Hold on. Can you? Okay. So it has 4.
Okay. 3 as well.
You have
3,
3,
4,
you have
7.
4,
Yeah.
and 7.
The ones that are not static. With this guy, with the class, I get access to the ones that are static. And that includes 5, 6, and 10. You see static?
Uh-huh.
Static. Okay. Now, let me do something. Let me remove this guy from this package and put it in the package main. Okay. I'm going to put it in the package main. See? So I put a method test in the package name. So I put it outside the package. There are different packages now. Method test is in package main and method design is in package methods. Okay. So now if I try to do this, Andy, I get access to jump, right? And not jump 3. Interesting. Why do you think it's that way?
Because it's not public. Let me see.
But if it is not public, it's private, right? And if it is private, it can only be accessed within the same class, not outside. You know why, guys? Because this guy, when you don't put the public access modifier, is by default protected. So what is the meaning of protected? It means that only the classes that are in the same package or the subclasses can access that method. Okay. Now let me do something. Let me say extends method design. But if I put it here now, back to the method, refactor, and then if I do this, I see jump 3. Okay. So in the same package or subclasses in the same package. That's the only way that you can access. This is a subclass of this one because we're extending that class. Okay. Subclass. Okay. But we're going to see inheritance when we get there. This is a child of this class. Okay. For now, I just wanted to test this, guys, for you to see it, that this guy is protected. Only the classes that are in the same package or the subclasses in the same package can access this class. Okay. So let me delete method test. I don't need that now. It was just for testing. Okay. So I'm going to close this. It's by default protected. Okay. We're going to see protected, private, default, and public. So those are access modifiers. And each one has a way to manifest itself. Okay, and that will limit or open the access to the methods or the variables in different classes. Okay, for now, when we get there, we're gonna see them. Okay, so what you need to know, guys, is when you don't see public, is protected. When you don't see anything, I can make it private, but what is the meaning of private? That only the elements are inside this class can have access to that. Only those. No other classes have access to this method. Only it can be called from this class. Okay, that's what private allows only. Okay, do you guys understand?
Yes.
Okay, let's see now the method return types. Okay, method. Sorry. Method return types. Okay. So we have another method here. We can say public, void, and then jump. We already know that this has a return type void. Okay, that's a return type. This method is not returning anything. It's just executing whatever is inside the method, but it's the method body, but it's not returning anything because the return type is void. It means that it's not returning anything. Okay. So you may have another method. Okay. Let's say public void jump to, right? And then we're going to say this return. All right. You don't get an error here, but this return is redundant. It's unnecessary. Okay. You don't get an error, but it's redundant. It's not necessary. Okay. So this return is redundant. Okay. And this is return type void. Okay. You only use return when there's a return type here in the method. Okay. Now we say public string jump 3. Okay. So what do we have here? What do we have here? Do we have a return type? Do we have a return type, guys?
Yes, you have to return a string.
String, right? So we have to say something like this. Return like this. You know, returning something. This is an empty string, right? Or maybe hello, right? And now we don't have an error. If you comment this out, you're gonna get an error. It's just showing here. It means that missing return statement because you're returning a string, right? So this one, string jump 4, this will not compile. Okay, this one will not compile because you're missing the return statement. So watch for the return type, guys. Watch for that. This does not compile. No return statement. Right? Now this one, public jump 5. This one has an error. Why, guys? What do you think there's an error here? What do you think?
There's no return type.
Correct. There's no return type. If you're not returning anything, you still have to use the void return type. Okay? So this one does not compile because it's missing a return type. Okay. Now we have this string, and then we have jump 6. We say int a, and then we say this. We say if a equals 5, then we can say return this. Is this correct? Is this correct? Guys, is this correct?
It appears so.
It's not. What if this is false? What if a is not equals 5?
Ah, very good point. Yep.
There's no return type. So we're missing a return type anyways. We have to say something like this.
Return something else.
Right, just in case that one is false. Okay?
Mhm.
But now before we had a little red line here. Okay? And if we hover over it, it says missing return statement, because if this is false, then there's no return statement. So this one is the way to go. Okay. Now, another one. Int, get int, and then we say return 9. Okay? Why we say return 9? Because we are returning an integer. Okay? And remember, if we don't put this here, it is protected by default. Okay? Don't forget that. We can have another one here. Int, get long, and then we return 9. What do you think? So this is okay, right?
Yep.
This is right.
That should be okay.
Looks okay, right?
Yeah.
How about this one? Int, or actually this is int. Okay. Int, and then, well, actually I put the same thing. Wait, this is get long.
Uh-huh.
And then you can do that because a long covers an integer, but if you want to return an integer, you can just cast it like this, right?
But it is an int.
Right. What if I do this?
No, that's not gonna work.
This is an error because I'm supposed to return an integer. But what if I put here long? I put long, it works.
Yeah. Now it works. Yeah.
And now what do I need to do to fix this? If I want to keep it this way, what do I need to do to fix this? Well, what I have to do is cast it,
Yep.
and then it works. Okay? We're changing this long to an integer, and then it matches the return type. Okay? So that's one way. Okay? So now I can have another one and say int expanded. And then we can say int temp equals 10, and then return temp. Okay? Right? So this variable is redundant. Okay? Why using this variable if I can do this? Right? You see, this is the warning that IntelliSense is giving me. It's telling me that this variable is redundant. It's a local variable that's redundant. right? Why not put just, instead of putting this guy, right? Why not returning 10? And then that's less redundant. Okay.
So what happens if you put temp equal 10 plus 5?
Which one? Where? Here?
Yeah.
Here?
Uh-huh. And then return 10. It shouldn't be, okay. Yeah. Remove.
Still get the same thing. Why not return 10 plus 5? It's redundant. You don't need it. So necessary. Okay. Now, I have another one. I have Boolean is true, right? And then like this. So I can do return 5 minus less than 10. Okay? But this one is always true, right? So it gives you that warning, right? I can also say return 5 equals 5. And it gives me the same warning. It's always true. Okay? But basically, what it's saying here is that we have to return a Boolean. All right? You can simply say as well, return true.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Unreachable statement because I have a statement, a return here. Okay. When you have something after return, it says that is unreachable. Okay? So all of this is true. All of this works. You see, if I remove this comment, it tells me that this guy cannot be reached because there's a return here. When there's a return, everything else stops. Okay? So we have to comment this out or simply have one only, one return statement. Okay? So it will complain because it cannot, it's unreachable. Code is unreachable because of that return statement. Okay? So I can have another method here, public void test. Okay, that one is just like the ones that we saw before. Okay, but something that guys you need to understand is that this does not compile. Why? Because you never start the name of a method or the name of a variable with a number.
With a number. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this will not compile. Okay, so method names cannot start with a number. Okay, now I can have this as well, public void public. What do you think about this one? Because public with lowercase it's I can access modifier. It's a keyword. But what if I do this? It works. It works. So public with capital letter is a valid name. It's a valid identifier. It's a valid method name. With lowercase, it's a reserved word. And that's an access modifier. Okay? So that will not compile either. Public cannot be the name of the method. However, public can. So be careful. It's not common to name a method public with capital letter, but if they put it in the exam, it's possible. Okay, that's valid. Now you can have this guy public void this, and that is valid because the name of a method can start with a $sign. Okay, it's like a variable. You can say int num equals 10. Same thing. So that is a valid identifier. Okay, starting with that this guy is a valid identifier. So valid method name starting with this guy. Okay? Valid 2. Now, if I say public void test, this is valid 2. So valid method name starting with underscore. It's like int num equals 10. So that's is valid 2. Okay? Valid 2. Okay? So names can start with a $sign or underscore. They're valid. Okay? Now, this is not valid, guys. Public void. This is not valid because this is a return type, right? So that cannot be an identifier. Okay, so this is wrong, right? Wrong. This is wrong. Name, method name cannot be void. Cannot be void. Okay. So you guys understanding? Yes, no? Yes, no, yes, no? Guys, you here?
I'm here, but I'm not the only one here.
Hey, Neil, Luis, James, Anand, are you understanding?
Sí, señor.
Gracias, Anand. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about method arguments. So let's pass some values to the methods. So method arguments. Okay. Right? So now I can have a method with return type int, and then let's say get 0. Right? And then I can have this guy and say return 0. Look, this is absolutely correct. Okay? So this is correct. Okay? So next, this guy has 0 arguments. Okay? There's no argument here. We're not passing anything here inside the method, inside the parameter part. So we say this is 0 arguments. And that is called niladic. Okay, you don't have to know this name. It's just, I'm just telling you. Niladic is when you don't have any arguments. Okay, now we can have another method called increment, right? Increment, and then we can pass an integer, a naming number, right? And let's say return number plus 1. Okay, and this is what? This is one that has 1 argument, because the argument is this one, number. Okay, we're passing here a number, and that's the argument of this method. Okay, so it's taking 1 argument, and this is called monadic. Okay, monadic means that it has only 1 method, argument. We can have another argument that has sum into sum, and then we can say int A, int B, right? And then we can say return us A plus B. Okay, that's a sum, right? So this one, how many arguments does it take? 2 arguments. Okay, and that is called dyadic. Dyadic. Okay, this is taking 2 arguments, right? So we are passing 2 numbers, A and B, and we are just adding both numbers. Okay? So let's have another one. Int plus minus. And then we're gonna pass A, B, and C, right? And we're gonna say return A plus B minus C. Okay? We're passing 3 parameters here, 3 arguments, and then we are calculating this here, A plus B minus C. Okay? And this takes 3 arguments, and that is called triadic. Okay? You don't have to remember those names. It's just for you guys to know. All right? And then let's have another method that returns a double, right? And we're going to say average. Okay? Average. And we're going to say double A. Remember that a grade can be a decimal. Double A, double B, okay, double C, double D, right? And now we can say return A plus B plus C plus D, and then divide it by 4.0. Don't forget that you're doing with double, so that's why you put 4.0. Okay? Now this takes 4 arguments and is called polyadic. Okay? So we take 0 arguments, 1 argument, 2 arguments, 3 arguments, and 4 arguments. Okay? And then what you have to do when you call the method is pass those numbers. Okay? So if you want to call the average method, you can say average, and then we say 4.2, 2.4, 2.5, 4.7, and 2.4. Okay. Now I cannot call this method because I don't have a main method. Okay. So that's why I cannot call this method. If I had PSVM, if I have this guy, then I can call the method and do this. You see? And of course, I have to make this method static. Okay. And then it will, let me see something here. Okay. Of course, I have to do static here. You see? And now I can just call this, and what are we returning here? What are we returning?
A double. A
Double.
double.
So
You're returning a double.
I have to declare a variable double here, right? And say average, and just call the method, right? And then say sysout average. Okay, so now if I just run this guy, I'm gonna get something here, 3.475. Okay, that's the calculation here. Okay, now as this method is static, I cannot call a method that is not static. You cannot call a regular method from a static environment. That's why I have to make this method static. If I remove static, I'm gonna get an error. Non-static method average double cannot be referenced from a static context. So I have to make it static to be able to call it from a static content, right? Now, if I do this, then I can do this. You see? And now it works. So let's see what happened. Okay, let me do it now. And I get main method is not static in because the main method is static. So I'm forcing the main,
I cannot see.
yeah, I'm forcing the main method to be on non-static. That's not
I
possible.
cannot see.
I stopped it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, your screen is gone.
Sorry. I click on something and then, yeah, if I remove the word static from the main method, I get this. Main method is not static in class. Please define the method as public static. Because this is something standard that is already established this way. The main method has to be static. And then if you want to call another method from this guy, you have to make that method static. Okay? Because you cannot call from a static context, you cannot call a method that is not static. Okay. So you can call the method from here. You can say sum, and you can say A and B. You see? Of course, it says unreachable statement, but I can say do this. You see? And now I can do this. You see? In this case, I am returning the result of this method, which is A plus B. But you see, I don't have to declare this method static because I'm calling this method from a non-static context. You see? But here, I am calling the main method average, the method average from a static context. So I have to make the method static. Okay? So let me remove this and put it the way it was before. Okay? Just for the sake of explaining this a little bit better. Okay? We're going to see static when we get there. Okay? I'm impressed that today we only 4 people. Very impressed.
You're underwater.
Yeah.
It's a lot of flooding right now.
Yeah. Really?
Oh, yes. There are schools that they have to close, especially in the lower part of the county.
Wow.
I mean, in Broward, the whole school in one town, they're all closed.
Wow. So, wow. Guys, do you think this will compile?
I don't know. I don't think so.
This will not compile because it has to have this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's missing the parentheses. Okay? So this will not compile. As it's missing the parentheses. Right? Now this one, void test, right? And now I do this int A, int B. And then I do this. So this will not compile either because arguments are separated by comma, not semicolon. Okay? So that's something that may also show in the exam. Arguments, this will not compile. Will not compile because arguments are not separated by semicolon. Semicolon. Column. But comma. So the correct way will be void test, and then int A, int B, and then we do this. Okay, that's the correct way. Now, we can have another one here that says void test2, and then we say int A. What's going on here, guys? What's going on here?
You're returning an argument, but it's a void.
Yeah, but we're
Now,
missing.
this is not going to work.
We're missing
Yeah.
something. We're missing something there.
What are you missing?
The curly brace,
The what?
the curly braces.
Yeah, we're missing the body of
The curly braces. Oh, okay.
we're missing the body of the method. Okay, it can be an empty body. It can be something. Here's an empty body. We don't need anything in the body because our return type is void. But if our return type is int, for example, then it's going to be missing something. We need the return statement. Okay, so this is valid. So whenever you see this, guys, this will throw an error. Why? Because you need a return statement when you have the return type here. Okay, so if you don't have a return type, other than, I mean, if you don't have void, if you have void, it means that you don't have to return anything. But this will not compile because this is missing the method body. This will not compile as we are missing the method body. Okay, that is this guy. Okay. Any questions? Any questions?
No.
Nope.
Good. It means that we can jump to another one. Okay. Almost there to get the guys to get the break. Okay. So let me create another one, and now we're gonna talk about using the access modifiers. Okay, using access modifiers, and that's when we're gonna talk about public and private and all those guys. Modifiers. Okay, using the access modifiers. And now I'm gonna have the method main. Okay. But first, I'm going to create a class named common. Okay, so I'm going to create a class named common. Okay. Let me create a common class. Common, right? Now in common, I'm going to say public int, public number. And then I'm going to say 10. I'm going to say protected int protected number. Okay. I'm going to say int default number 30. I'm going to say private int private number 40. Okay. Now I'm going to say public void. I'm creating variables and methods with different access modifiers. Public print. Okay. And I'm going to say sysout public, right? I'm gonna create another method, say protected, right? Void protected print. Okay. And then I'm gonna say sysout protected, just to identify them when we print them. I'm gonna say void by default is that when you have anything is default by default. So we say default print, and then we say sysout default, and then we say private print, and then we say sysout. Did I put a private print already? Why am I getting this? Oh, void. And then we say private. Okay. So we have that already. Okay. So now I can create a method, a main method here, right? And I can say common, create an object of common equals new common. So I'm creating an object in the same class, an object of this class, okay, to test these methods and these variables. So I can say common public print, okay? And I can say common protected print. I say common default print, and common private print. As you can see, guys, from the same class, I have access to all of the methods. Okay, no matter the access modifier. Okay, no matter the access modifier, I have access to all the methods. Okay, and the same can happen with the variables. I can say sysout. I can say public number plus common and then public number. You see, I have access to every single variable in this class. Within the class is easy. Okay, within the class is easy. So I can say now protected, and now I can say protected here. And now here I can say default, and here I can say default. And now I can say private, and here I can say private. So I have access to every single element of this class. So I can just run it, and I get all these guys here. All right. So all the prints of all the methods, because I am in the same class. My class is common. And then inside common, I have access to every single variable and method, no matter, regardless of the access modifier. Okay? Okay. So this is on the main class, the class itself. Yes?
So what's the purpose of declaring something protected or private if you can access it from outside the class?
You can't. You cannot access the private. You cannot access the protected unless you are within the set package or the subclass.
Oh, okay. So the same package, I see.
Correct. So now let me show you a picture that I have here. Let me bring it here. Okay.
Ah, nice.
So modifiers. Public is the class, the package, the subclass, the world. Everybody can access your variables or methods when it's public. Okay. Now, when it's protected inside the class, you can. I just show it to you. Inside the class, you can. In a package, you can. And a subclass, you can. But the word cannot. So you're protecting your data, right? When it's default, you came from the class, you came from the package, but you cannot get it from a subclass, and you cannot get it from the world. When it's private, only inside the class. No one else can get it. Not the same package, not the subclass, not the world. It's private. Okay? How can you accept something from a private, from a class that has private methods and then using getters and setters? Okay? Accessors and mutators. But that's something that we're gonna see when we talk more about objects and things like that. Okay? But I'm gonna paste this on Slack. I'm gonna put this on Slack so you guys can see it. Okay? This is very important, guys. The access modifiers. Okay? Okay? This is very important. Okay? So we can compare this guy. Let me bring this guy here. Let me just put it here. And let me bring this to the left and this guy to the right. Okay? So now I'm gonna make this a little smaller so you guys can see it. Where's my class? I lost it. All right. Okay, nice. So you see here, public can be seen from anywhere. Okay, protected, this is only from the class, this class here, from the same package or a subclass. And we're gonna test it later. Okay, a subclass is a class that extends that class. Okay, a child class. If it is default, it can only be seen from the class and the package. That's why when I moved the first, remember that I moved the first file to main, we could not see that anymore because it was default. This guy was default. Okay, is default. It cannot be from another class that is not in the package. Okay? If it is in the package, you can see it. If it is not, you cannot see it. Okay, this is a way to hide your data, guys. This is called encapsulation. You're encapsulating the data. Okay, and you let whoever you want see your data, or whatever class see your data. Okay, that's where the access modifiers play a major role. Okay, super important, guys. Super important. The access modifiers. Okay, so guys, it's 6:47. Let's take a 10 minutes break, and let's meet back here at 7. How about that?
Okay, see you then.
Do you guys have any questions?
Hey, Professor.
Go ahead.
Oh, I came late to the class.
Sorry?
Oh, I came late to the class.
Okay, okay. You are Aussie? Kevin? You're Kevin?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, I'll see you at 7 Okay? See you later. Let's continue. So let me create, well, I already created a class using access modifiers. Then I can just create an object of that class, common, and then call it common. So this is a class that is in the same package. It's a different class, okay? So I can say common, new common, right? Now I can say common, and then I can say public print. Okay. Sorry. Public print, right? Common. Protect default print and common. Public print. The now protected print. Okay. And also I can say sysout, public number, public number, and then I can say plus common public number. Okay, so I can have all these guys because I am in the same package. Okay, so I can have default print of a default number, and then here I can have default number, and then I can have protected number, and then I can have protected number. Okay, so as you can see here, I cannot see private. Private doesn't show anywhere here because private can only be accessed from the class itself. Okay, so if I run this guy, or actually this is using method access modifiers, I can have the print here, right? So I can have all the guys here. Why? Because within the same package, I can print the publics, the default, and the protected. Okay, so I can have these guys. Let me create another class here in main. So let me create another package here in a different package. And let me call it method test. Okay. And now in this class, I'm going to create a class and say method from another package. Okay, so now I'm going to say common equals new common. Okay, so I say now common you see, wait, I have to use the PSVM. And now I can do this, right? And then I can say now common. You see, I can only see the public ones. You see, I can have the public print, and I can do sys out public number. Okay, number. And now say public number, common, public number. So as you can see here, based on the image that we have here, right? We can see that from another class, okay, from another class, we cannot see protected, we cannot see default, we cannot see private. And this is the world, okay? It's considered the world, okay? So now I cannot see here. I cannot see the protected, I cannot see the private, I cannot see the default one. Well, fine. What if I create another class, right? And I call it method for another package 2, right? And now I'm gonna say extends common, okay? Now if I say common PSV, I say common, new common, creating an object, and I say common, you see here, let me put it in the same package here. Can I name it here, rename it? Can I have the option here to rename it? You see, Maria, this is what we call, that's what I call it, the override, okay? I can override this. So I can have the protected ones, you see, because why? Because I have the extension, I'm extending this guy. So that's a subclass, okay? So I can override.
Hold on. So here on the first line, public class, the name of the class, extends common. Is it the method from another package 2 extending as a child that's common, or is it common extending its content to the method from another package 2?
Yeah, the content, when you see super public print, you're calling the method from the parent class. Okay, so I can use something here, say sys out, right? And say hi, right? I'm overriding this annotation here is letting me overwrite the method from the parent class.
Ah, interesting.
You see, I'm not changing the name of the method because I am overriding it. I'm just changing the content. Now, if I'm extending common, right? If I change common and public print, I made it final, right? I have a problem. And the problem is the following, that in that particular guy, this
You
is
cannot modify, right?
cannot override it.
You cannot override it.
Final, you see? So I have to go back to common and remove the word final, right? So the problem disappears. Okay. So from a class that extends that, I can see the protected guys, and I can see here. I can have the protected and the default. So if we take a look at this guy, the default one cannot be seen from the subclass. Okay, and the private cannot see from the subclass, but the protected can be seen, and so can the public. That's why I have the public here and the protected. Okay, so now probably I can say super, and then I can just get the protected number from here. Okay. Okay. So
What's the super? What is the super?
Super is the super class, the parent class.
It's a super class. Okay.
So now I can say common, but if I want to do this, I have to make protected. What is the guy that I'm calling here? Protected number. Where is it? Static. Okay. So I can be able to just get it from here. Okay. Static, like I said before, static. You can call it just by putting the name of the class. You don't have to instantiate the class. You don't have to create an object of the class to be able to do that. Here, I can say common, super, and protect. But to be able to do this, I have to put it in sysout. Okay, and now if I just run this guy, I just get this number. Okay, protected, or probably protected number. Okay, and now if I run this guy, I just get protected number 20. So what is the takeaway here, guys? Is that when you have protected, you can see it from the same package, or from a subclass. And the subclass is a class that extends another one. Okay, this is a class that is extending common. So common is the parent of method from another package too. Okay, so that's how it works. Now for the private, the only way that I can access this guy is through a getter or a setter. Okay, so I would have to do something here like this. I have to say public, and then we say int, maybe void, set private number, right? In this case, I don't have to set the private number because the private number already has a value. So I don't have to set any value. What I can do is just say int, get public number, create this method, and then return. Oh, I'm inside the method, the main method. Remember that I can have a method inside a method. Okay, so I'm gonna return private number. All right? Now what I have to do is just call it from the other class. Okay? From here, or from the one that I created an object here, I can say system out. I can say private number, and then equals, I can say common, and then I call that method that says get public number, and that will return the public number. Did I say public number or public number? It's not public, it's private. Okay, and of course I have a problem because I have to fix it there. Okay, where is it? Here. It's private. Change the name there. I have to change the name here. So that private number, that method get private number is returning that number for me. I'm not able to access this guy because it's private, but I can access this guy through a getter. Okay, the getter, when it's called, is going to return one number, this number. So I am encapsulating the data because it's private, right? No one can go straight to the number. You can't because it's private, but you can go through a getter and get the number. Okay, that's called encapsulation. Now, if I come back here and I run this guy, I get here private number 40. Okay, that's the only way that I can get a private variable to print, through a getter. And the getter, as you can see, is a method that is inside the class. So this private number is this I got here because I'm inside the class. I'm inside the common class. Okay. So back to this. Modifiers. Public can be accessed from any class, from any package, from anywhere, as long as you import the class, right? Protected, it's only inside the class, just like we have here, right? Inside common, right? We have protected here, and then protected can be printed from here, protected method, and the protected variable. Okay? And by the way, I can do this. I don't need to have this common. Why? Because I set this protected as static. When I have static, I don't have to use the object. I've just used either the variable or the class. I don't use the class here because I am within the same class. I'm inside common. But if I'm in another class, then I have to use common, the class here. That's what happens with protected, with static, static variables. We're not static yet. I'm just telling you a little bit about static. All right. So, same class protected, same package, and a subclass. Okay? Subclass of the same package. Okay? Subclass of the same package. Well, no, it's protected. Okay? Default, yes, the same class, yes, the same package, no the subclass, no world. Private, only the class, no one else. Okay? So that's very important that you guys remember. You guys understanding? Yes? No?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Good, 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 good.
Yes, yes, yes.
Good, 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 good. Thank you. Okay. Java is very interesting. Very. All right. So let's create another class inside this method, and let us call it methods with Var Args. Remember these guys? The Var Args? Remember? If you don't remember, you will remember now when you see it. Okay? So we say public void jump 1, and then we say int numbers. Remember this, guys? We saw it in the past class. Remember that this guy accepts any number of parameters, any number of arguments, right?
Yep.
I can say PSVM, and I can say jump 1, right? Yeah, static. Okay. No, I have to make this one static. Okay, so jump 1, I can say jump 1 or 11, right? I can say jump 1 4. Okay, I can say jump 1 3 6 5 6 7 3 5 7 8 9. You know, it accepts any number of parameters. Okay, so now I can say this out, maybe arrays to string and then numbers, right? Now if I just run this guy, I get whatever I have. Okay, because this is basically an array, but it accepts any number of arguments. That's what these 3 points mean. It accepts any kind of arguments. And of course, you have to print it as an array, right? If I use this, it would not work because it would not accept these guys here. In these guys, they're not arrays. Okay? Maybe if I do this, maybe if I do this, right? Just like that, yes. And I will have to do the same here, right? Right? That is the only way that you can accept that because it's only accepting array of integers. And then we have to do the same here. New int, right? Is this the only way that can accept that? And of course, I will have to comment this out because it doesn't have any. So now it will accept that, right? And then it prints this guys here, 11, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. Okay, but that's not what I intend to do here. What I intend to do is what I had before, right? To have all kinds of arguments and be accepted no matter what. Okay, so for that, I will have to change this for the 3 numbers, the 3 dots, and then that will help me. Right? This is a very good features that Java 8 has, right? To accept any kinds of arguments. Okay? Right. So I can have this other method and say public void jump2, right? And now we say int start, and we say int numbers, right? That is possible too. But now, guys, you need to understand that if I change this guy and I put it at the beginning, it's gonna give me a massive error, right? Because Var Args can only be the final argument. They cannot be the first one. Must be the last in the list. It says it here. Must be the last in the list. So I'm gonna put it the way it was before, like the last one, right? And now I can simply call that method jump to and say, I want to pass 2 and then 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And that will very smartly, it will separate this one from the other ones. That's a pretty smart move. So I'm gonna do this out, start, right? Start. And now I'm gonna say this out, arrays, because the second one is an array, to string, and then numbers, right? Now if I just print this, I get start 2 and then the array. Maybe I want to add cool, the word cool, right? And then I want to say here string text, right? And now maybe I want to say this out. This is so, and then we say text, right? Simple as that. So we print it now, and now we get this is so cool, right? And then we get start to, and then we get the array. This is so awesome. This is pretty new in Java. Super good. I like it. I like it because you can send any type of arguments. It will accept it, no matter if it is 1, 2, 3. Like you don't want to say anything. Let's say they want to say jump to. Of course, the first 2 they have to be there. Text and start because they're not Var Args. Okay, so I can say Dunieski and then 4. And that's pretty good. That's more than enough, right? Now I say this, I run it, and I get, this is so Dunieski, start 4, and I get an empty array here because I'm not passing the array. Okay, I'm not passing the array. Maybe I can do this. And then I can say 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, of course, it's redundant because I can simply say this, right? And I don't need that, okay? So now I can just print it and I get 2, 3, 4, okay? If I want to have something more beautiful, I can say 4 int number and then numbers, right? I can say, maybe I don't want to put any, just the first line. I can say this out, number, right? And that's another way to print it, to print this array here, okay? And I get something, more organized here. Maybe I want to have them one next to the other. What I have to do is just remove ln, right? Which is a new line, and then I get 2, 3, 4, one next to the other. But then if I want to put them a little bit more organized, I just leave a space between them, and then it's going to have 2, 3, 4 like this. Right? It's a better way to print it, a little more organized. If you print it like this, array the 2 string numbers, then you will get this square brackets in the outside. Okay. So okay, let's have another method here. And let's say this is public for you guys to see that it doesn't work. Static void, right? And then main, not main. I'm gonna have jump three, and then I'm going to put int numbers, and then int start. Okay, So guys, you already know that this doesn't work because this one cannot be the first one. It has to be the last in the list. So I'm gonna comment this out and say that this does not work. This does not work because var args cannot be the first in the list. Okay? I can also have this for you guys to see that it doesn't work this way either. Right? Void jump4. I can have int start int numbers. It cannot work this way because it cannot be the first in the list. Doesn't matter if you have two. It can never be the first in the list. Okay? So I'm going to put this guy here and I'm going to say this, right? Right?
The only way that will work is if you have two arrays within the within the arguments, no?
Say that again.
You will have to have two arrays within the argument
Yeah, if you have two
for
arrays.
it to be able, yeah, right?
Yeah, if you have this, for example, let's say public static void jump 5, and then you have int numbers and then string int text, right? That will work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. Then you have to say sysout arrays just to be able to print both, right? To string, say numbers, right? And now we say sysout arrays to string, and then we say text, right? Let's say tests, because we're gonna say in plural, okay? So now we can call that particular method, right? This is jump5, right? Jump5. And we're gonna say jump5, we're gonna say new string, and we're gonna say Dunieski, Orlando. I think the first one is the numbers. So I'm gonna put new int, and I say 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's a comma.
Okay. And now we're gonna be able to have that. So if I just run this, I will get Dunieski Orlando and the numbers here. Okay. But before I do that, I want to put a sysout thing here. So it just gives me a space here, like a new line. It's not next to this one. So I'm gonna do it now, and I have these numbers here. Right. Of course, if I want to do it different way, I can say for, right? For integer num in numbers, right? I can say this out num and leave a space here. That's one way, right? Right? And this one would be this out, not this out. I would say for string text in text, and then I can say sysout text space like this. Okay. What's going on here? for string and test. Oh, I'll put a semicolon there. Will work. So this is another way, and then you can print this beautiful thing here. Of course, I'm gonna eliminate ln so I can show it one next to the other, and I just show Dunieski-Otano. Of course, I will have to put probably here before I call them. I would put like it is out here, right? And then I would put that guy. No, I still need this out here for Dunieski, right? For numbers fine. Numbers fine. Dunieski is the one that is printing.
It's down below. Yeah.
For this one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is the one that Dunieski is the one that needs this out thing here. All right. Oh, we can have a better print here. All right. And then still get Dunieski-Otano here. We're still getting this guy here because I need this out here as well. And then just a yes. Wait. So here. So now I get a better Dunieski-Otano here, right? So you guys understand what I'm doing here?
Yes.
Yes, guys, you understanding?
Yes.
Guys,
I have another question.
go ahead, please.
So instead of returning a void, let's say that I want to return the two arrays within jump 5, right?
Want to return the two arrays. You can only
Yeah.
return one.
No, jump 5 has 2 arguments, right?
Yeah, but
I want to return both arguments.
yeah, but you have here the return type. You can only
So
return.
let's say that I change that void to something that I can return. Can it be returned as what? As an array? It has to be returned as a white for it to work.
But what kind of array do you want to return? String, an integer? What do you want
I
to?
want to return both arguments. I want to return them.
You cannot return two. Not in Java. You can do it in JavaScript. You can do it in Python, but not in Java.
Isn't that interesting?
You can return only one value. This doesn't exist in Java. That's an example. That doesn't exist in Java. It's only one. All right. So even if I say this numbers and I say text, you cannot do that. You can only return one. On this one, I have to put here int to be able to return it. All right. Okay. So in Python it's possible. It's not possible in Java. That's one of the limitations of Java.
In JavaScript you can, right? In JavaScript you can.
In JavaScript you can return more than one, as many as you want, as long as you receive it in another thing. For example, here I have Python, and I want to create a function here. Let's say that I want to create a function, and I call the function, let's say that the function is return values, right? And then I want to have num1. Python is a little different. Python doesn't have dynamic static typing. Like static typing is like this. You put integer in front of the number, then the variable. That's static typing. Python doesn't have this. You don't do this in Python. Okay, like this num1 int num2. Okay, because it has dynamic typing. Okay, so this will do the way. Python is smart enough to recognize that that's a number. Okay, now I can say sum is num1 plus num2, right? And then you can say return sum, num1 and num2. So you can return more than one. All right, that's one of the and of course you can say here sum. This is a local variable. It's local. It's only recognized inside here. I can say sum, comma, num1 on m1, n2 equals return values. Sorry, return values, and then I pass the numbers 4 and 5. Right now I can print. She's out. I can print sum n1 and n2. All right, so I can do that. That's possible in Python. Okay, so enter num. This is running something else. No, enter number 2, 3. Okay. Okay, you see, 8 is the sum, 3 is number 1, and 5 is number 2. You see, that's possible in Python, but it's not possible in Java. That's one of the limitations of Java. You can only return one
argument.
Only one argument or whatever variable you have here inside. Okay, if I have, for example, text. If I put here string, right? String, I'm returning a string. I can say string text1 equals Dunieski, right? And then string text2 equals Otano, right? I can say return text1 plus, but this is concatenation, okay? This is concatenation. This is something else. It's not that I'm returning enough value for void.
You're returning one value.
Yeah, because I put void here. I put it in the wrong place. I have to put it here where it says void. Okay, now it disappears. So I'm just returning not two variables. I'm returning a new string, which is the concatenation of both.
Yep.
Okay, it's like returning 5 plus 6. So now I do this, and I got Dunieski. Dunieski. Did I put it in? Am I running this guy? Well, I know what's happening. The problem is that I'm not receiving this anywhere. I have to find this somewhere. Okay, where am I calling this guy? Jump 5. Where am I calling jump 5? Here. So I can say string name equals, right? I'm receiving the return in a variable because I'm returning a string. This is a string. Even though it's 2, still a string. So I'm returning a string. I'm sending that string to somewhere. And that somewhere is this guy, name. So now if I say this is our name, or I can say my full name is, and now if I run it, My full name is Duniez Quintano, but I have to leave some space here, right? So I don't see this guy here so ugly, right? Now I'm gonna put before this print here, I'm gonna put this out. So it's just beautiful in the next line. My full name is Duniez Quintano. Okay, whenever I return something, there has to be another place that catches that return. And that's gonna be a variable. Or I have another way to do it. Instead of returning it here, I can simply say this, right? But this is gonna be very ugly, okay? This is gonna be very ugly. My full name is, okay? That's very ugly. So if I just run it, I get the same thing. My full name is Duniez Quintano down here again, okay? I'm just, instead of storing the method call, the return in one variable, I'm just calling the method directly. And that's gonna return Duniez Quintano anyways, okay? This name here is Duniez Quintano, and Duniez Quintano is this. That's Duniez Quintano, because when you make this method call, what you get is Duniez Quintano. So it is the same thing. I mean, store it in a variable or simply the method call right here, and you get the same information. Okay, let me do it more clearly here. Let me just create another and then play with methods, right? And then I'm gonna say PSVM, right? And I'm gonna create another method, right? I'm gonna say public, or maybe private. I'm gonna make it private. Private static. I'm gonna return an integer, okay? And I'm gonna say the name is addition, right? I'm gonna pass A and B, right? Now I'm gonna say integer sum equals A plus B, okay? That's one way. I could have say this, right? Return A plus B, same thing, okay? Same thing, right? Now what I have to do is call addition and pass 4 and 6 to numbers, right? Okay, but I have a problem. Where I'm gonna store this return? I get a warning here. It says,
somewhere.
that's right. It says result of play is in nor, because I'm not storing anywhere. So I have to do int, right? Sum equals this, right? And now I just see out. Sum is sum, right? So that's one way. I can run it, and now I get sum is 10. Okay, that's fine. But I can also do this. Sys out, sum is, and then call the method. Say addition and pass 5 and 2. Okay, and that's exactly the same. I get a different sum, but I get 7 now because I'm passing 2 different numbers. If I just put the same numbers, I'm gonna get the same result, which is 10. Okay, so I can either call the method directly or store this information here. But there's one big difference, and you are making your program slower if you call the method. Why? Because if you need to use the variable again, every time that you use it, you have to call the method. It's going to be a method call, method call, method call, method call, method call. Why not store it in a variable and they use the variable from that moment on? You don't have to be calling the method so many times. I can use sum again. I can say out, sum, right? Sys out, sum, 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 sum. And then I'm going to get 10 many times, okay? Which is not the same as doing this, right? Like calling the method like this 10 times. So you're making your program work more because you're calling the method so many times, right? You get it 10 as well, but it's going to get slower and slower and slower because, I mean, you're calling the method. Call it only once, put it in the variable, and that's it. You don't have to call it every time that you want to access that sum. Okay? You guys understand?
Yes.
Okay, guys, I want you to do something. Do you have your IntelliJ up? You have it up? Do you have it up?
Now it's running.
Okay. So guys, try to reproduce the program that create 4 variables. Now one, just let me put here the instructions. 1 moment. Here, down here. Real quick. Create a variable. Right? Create a protective variable. Okay. Create a default variable. Create a private variable. And create a public variable. Right? First, create a class. In a class, call test. Do this, okay? And of course, I'm gonna comment this out, okay? Okay, and then create all the classes one in your in the same package, and one in a different package, right? That'll be number 5, right? And then instantiate, create an object of that class, class test, okay? In the other classes, and test, well, it's going to be a master class, and then create one test, one in package, and test 2 in a different package. Instantiate the master class in the other classes, and test the access modifiers. Okay. So there's going to be a little instructions for you guys. If someone wants to share the screen while you do it, that would be nice. Okay. So I'm going to put this in Slack. real quick to make the class a little more dynamic. Okay, so I'm gonna put this here because we already covered the content for today. Okay. Okay. So someone wants to share the screen, that'll be more than nice. And I already guess who's gonna be. So who can share the screen? You want to go for it, Maria?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hold on, I'm doing, there you go. Did it do this?
Yes.
Valid VCS route mapping, something happened. Okay, so let's see the instructions. Hold on one second. Do you have him on Slack?
Yes.
Any particular location where we want this? Any particular package or?
No particular location.
Public variable or private variable. Create classes, just one in the same package, just two in a different package. Okay, instantiate the master in another classes and just the access modifiers. Okay. So we have been doing methods. Let's go. Yeah. Where are you? Next. Okay. So let's call it. What?
You can share your screen, Maria, if you want to.
Java class. What's the name of this Java class? Master. Oops. Let me share my screen. Hold on. Share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
So we're calling this master, right?
Yeah.
And we want what? Let's see. I'm not looking at the Slack. Guys, you want to help me out?
Yeah. Can someone help?
Sure.
Okay, you want to guide me?
First thing first, we're creating a private variable.
Uh-huh.
Protected variable.
You're cutting off. I don't. Hello?
Yes, you're creating a protected variable.
So create the verbs, Maria.
Create what?
The variables.
Protected variable.
Create the variables. Okay. So, and one is called what?
Yeah, read the instructions from Slack.
Protected
A
variable.
protected variable. Okay. So how do we create a protected variable?
Good question. Well, the first thing that you have to do is write the access modifier. So what is the access modifier for protected variables? Protected, right?
Protected, the keyword protected.
Okay.
Okay. And now
The type,
what's the type?
My variable one.
any type you want. What kind of variable are you declaring?
String, maybe.
Just give it a name,
And what's the name?
any name you want. Okay, give it a value.
And then the value. And then what happens?
That's not a value. The value is equals and the value.
Equal, maybe. Yeah.
A name. Okay.
Parentheses, remove the at.
But give it a
I mean, semicolon.
give it a meaningful name, because that's not a name. That's a number. Give it a meaningful identifier. So maybe number one.
Num one.
Maybe num1.
Okay. Next. Anybody else? Huh?
This is a default variable.
Uh-huh. And how do we do a default variable?
I think, do you need a modifier for protection?
You don't need the modifier.
You don't need a modifier. Just
So
type in the name.
String. Any name?
Yeah, anything.
Next. Anybody else wants to collaborate? How do we do a private variable?
Keyword private.
Mm-hmm. And then any type?
Maybe another string or double.
Another string?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then? Name2?
Name2.
And then?
Jane, maybe for the value. Jane.
Okay.
Yep, that works.
And next?
Next one is a public.
It's a public, okay. And how do we do that?
Public.
Mm-hmm. And then?
Data type, int.
An int, uh-huh.
Num2
Uh-huh.
equal 12.
So, okay.
Now we have to create another class.
Okay. What kind?
Just create in the same package, create another class.
The same package?
You guys call it test1.
And does it say what kind of class?
Create other classes, one test1 in the same package and test2 in a different package. It doesn't say what kind, just on the same homework package, just create test1 and then another class called test2. I think you can right click on the homework and then create it.
Okay. And what do we do with this?
Create another test2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess we could create the public. We need a main method in each of them to test it, to call it the variable we just created in the master Java. Public static void main.
So you want to do test one or test two? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, in both of them, we're going to create the main method. Then we'll instantiate the master class in both of them, and then we'll call those variables. So do public static void. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's, if you get the first one, I guess let's instantiate master first. Go back to test one because we have to call, I think we have to call the variables in those classes instead.
Yep.
Okay, there you go. And then let's do test master, master with uppercase M.
The name of the class.
And then let's instantiate one, do lowercase master.
That's the name of the object. So give it any name you want.
Space.
Master makes sense. Master makes sense.
You like it? Equal what?
New master. New. N-E-W.
Oh, new master. New master.
And then the parentheses.
Yeah, you call it
next to master.
You call it the constructor of that class. No space.
No space between master and open parentheses.
I did not get what you just did.
No, this one is fine. We moved the space. Yeah.
No,
you have to put no space between master and parentheses. You have to put them together.
No. No space, Maria. Maria.
I'm not with you.
Right here, backspace, and then semicolon.
Uh-huh.
Okay, go down, next line, and then let's start calling the blah master.
You have to print them.
Oh, okay, see that. Blah master.
Right. And then
Yeah, use the object to access the variables.
so now we have
name one.
name one.
And num one, num two. Any of them.
You print all of them.
Yes, all of them, yes. And then you could copy paste out line 6 and then and paste it on line in the next line.
Well, wouldn't it make more sense if we capture that in variables? Didn't you say that you need to anyway, that's okay.
What, the static thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you make the variable static? The variable is static.
No.
So then you have to instantiate the class. If you declare one of them static, then you don't have to create an object for that. You can put the name of the class and then access the variable. Make one of them static for you to see it.
Which one is the one that we use? Name one. This one.
Make it static. Okay.
Okay. Now when I come here, I don't have to do this, right?
So just instead of putting blah master, just put the name of the class.
The name.
Master
The
dot
name
name.
of the,
Instead of the object, just put the name of the class and then master dot master dot name one.
name.
The only thing is the instructions say to instantiate the master.
So you don't need to use an object to access the variable because it's static.
Okay. Where's the printing? How do you split the screen on this? Oh, there you go.
Maria. Try to print the
Either
other
way.
ones. Try to print the other ones to test the access modifiers. Is this the same package, right? So you know that in the same
Yeah,
package,
it is.
you can print the public, you can print the protected, and you can print the default.
So, but I should be able to print all of them, right? Within
Not
the same
private,
package.
not the private one. Not the private one. The private one is only inside that class. So try the private one inside the main of this class. You can print it, but not in the other one.
I can do it here, but not in the test one.
Right. Because private is only for that class. You test it. That's the objective of the exercise.
What is
Within the
it?
same class, it's easy.
Main two.
Within the same class, it's easy. You know?
No, look. Main.
Yeah, you can access all of them because you are in the same class. So the access modifiers here have no effect.
Oh, look. Oh, it did.
The access modifiers here have no effect at all because you are in the same class. Okay.
No,
It's
it's not
getters,
working.
getters, and setters for name
It's
two.
saying that you have to make it static to be able to reference it within
because you are calling from a static context. So make name two static. Make it static. Name two. Because you're calling a variable that is not static from a static context. Now you don't get the error. Remember, the main method is static. So whatever thing you're calling from that method has to be static. Things that are outside the method, if it is inside the method, you don't have to make it static. Either a method or a variable, if they're outside the main method, they have to be static.
There you go. Look.
You have to make all of them static.
Even the public one.
Now, if you're doing this, when you call them from the other, yeah, the method, it's the same thing. You have to make it static. All right. Now, when you call them from the other class, then you don't need to instantiate the class because you make them all of them static. So if you go back to test one or test two, where were you? You don't need the blah master. You don't need that object anymore. So you can delete line 5 or comment it out.
So this here.
Yeah, you don't need that. You can just reference the class, like put the class name, and then you can bring all of them except the private one.
Come on.
Just delete the T. Or start again, all over again. This is out. Okay, good. Now you can print all of them except the private one. Okay.
So you can print name, num, and num2.
Except name 2, which is private.
Which one is the private one? I have to go
Name
back.
2. Name 2.
I need to see them.
Okay.
How was it that you put them side by side? I can't remember.
Well, just put print only instead of ln.
No. You were able to put this this tab side by side.
Right click on the not there. Not there. Okay, right click. No, in where the text is. Go down. Right click there. Let's see. Let me see. One moment. Okay.
No, there was something else. There was another place that you clicked. I allow you to see them side by side.
Okay.
Did you do this? No.
Okay. If you click on the tab, just select split horizontally. Click on the tab, right click, split
Ah,
horizontally.
there you go. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So now we can see them side by side. And this would be just finish the big.
You can move it.
There you go.
Yeah, but when you print it, you're gonna have the same problem. All right, go ahead.
So the private one is name chill.
Correct. You won't be able to see it.
Eight, oh.
No, you don't see it. The private one, you
Yeah,
won't.
yeah, yeah, it's not there. Mhm.
Yeah. Now print it.
Now let's see. Where's the menu? Oh, right here. So,
You see, you're testing that in another class in the same package. You can see protected, you can see public, and you can see default, but you cannot see private. You cannot see private.
so the only way to do this is if I do a get.
A getter.
I think you have to do a getter, right?
Yeah, do a getter. Yeah. Okay.
And it's a widget.
Work on text two. Work on text two. Can you click on text two?
Text two. Where are you?
The text two
Oh,
class.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Now
Mhm.
what you're gonna do next to text two? No, before you do that next to just extends master. Extends. Let's just put some inheritance there. Master. Okay. And now try to create an object there. Well, actually, you don't have to create the object because all of the variables are static. Just write master. Okay, wait. Do PSVM. Okay, PSVM. Nice. Now just type the name of the class, master, and then dot. Now you can see. You can see name one, right?
You can see name one, name num1, num2, but not name two. The only way that I can get name two is if I do a getter in the master, right?
Yes.
So I can pass it through another variable, and then I can see it.
Right. Okay. So from a subclass, you can still see the protected one from a subclass in the same package. Subclass, not a subclass.
What's the nomenclature for the getter?
Okay, who was the one that was helping you, Luis?
Hello?
Luis, you were the one helping,
That
right?
was me, actually.
No, wasn't.
Who was that?
That was me.
Ami, can you help her with the getter?
The getters, okay. So we need to go back to master. You're on master on the other side, okay. You could right click. Generate. I believe you can do it. Generate. Go click on generate. I don't know if you could see it. Once you right click. Generate.
I don't see that. Oh, right here. Sorry, I apologize. And then
Getter. And then select the variable we want. We select all of them.
Wow. This one?
You may have to hold the shift key to select all of them.
I just want name two.
Okay, perfect. That's it. And then you right click to do the setters. The same way.
Well, the setter is not neat because it's already set. It has a value already.
Oh, yes, you're right. Sorry.
So now you can go back to test one and try to, instead of calling the variable, instead of trying to access the variable, you can access the getter. So in the next line, in line 9, just do the same thing, right? This out. And then you do master. Instead of the variable, you just call the method get name 2. Now you can print it, and that's going to return the name 2.
That's to fix the issue.
You have to comment out the line 5 in test 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Now print net. There you go. You get James. You cannot access the variable directly because it's private, but you can go through a public method, which is the getter, and the public method will return that variable for you. Okay.
If I make it final,
Now,
it's not going to work. Let's see.
well, that's a variable. That's not a method. If it is a
Oh,
method,
it has to be in the method. Oh.
okay. Now, in test 2, Maria, in test 2, see if you can access any of the methods.
Hold on. Let me see if I remember how to do that little trick that I don't know who was talking. So you come here and you do what? Generate, right?
Yes.
How
Well,
wonderful.
that's the 5 methods you could do here. Constructor, you could do the
That
constructors.
is so cool. Thank
That will be
you.
control N, right? Control N, right? Is that what you can do? Control N. Just click on just press Control N. Oh, you don't get anything? Because in
No,
Mac,
I got another.
in Mac, let me share my screen. In Mac machine.
How the hell do I close this? It looks like it's doing some sort of a search.
Maybe click outside of it.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. You want to share your window?
No. Go ahead, man.
So in Mac, you can do Control N and it brings that generate.
No, it brings something else.
You could do alt insert.
Look, it's right here. Alt insert.
Okay, just click Alt insert.
Oh, cancel. Insert. Insert. Oh, I found it. There you go. Alt insert.
There you go.
Very interesting.
So you can
Okay,
create a constructor. You can create a constructor if you want to.
I'm sorry, where are we going now? Test 2?
Yeah, but you don't have any methods. I was looking for a method, but you don't have any method there. You only have get name, and it's public. Okay, can you create a protected method? Protected?
Where do you want me to create it?
Right there, but just right below the get. Just put
Where I am?
protected.
You want me to do it where I am?
Yes, protected. Static void. Void. Print. Okay, parentheses. Curly braces. Enter. Sys out. Sys out. Protected. Yeah, it's a string.
Print.
In quotation.
String.
Put in a quotation.
String.
Oh, put something.
Now try to call it from test two. From test two. From the class test two. Okay, uncomment that.
It's supposed to let me because I'm in the same package, right?
Yeah, uncomment that.
Master.
Dot. Okay, delete the dot and just put it again.
There you go.
You have print there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Interesting. So I can do this.
You're in the same package, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Can I do something here? Can you give me control? Your screen?
Yes, of course. Mm-hmm.
So
I don't want you to do that because if you type everything. That's why it's difficult. I understand what you're doing, but then when I try to do it, I forget the nomenclature.
I want to test something. I want to test something.
Mm-hmm. I don't think, yeah, you have to. That's interesting.
Yeah. You see why I put print here and I don't put anything else? Because I'm inheriting that method.
So actually, if you take this out, don't. If I take that out, I should be able to. Wait a minute.
Let me see something there.
Mm-hmm.
So say
You still have control.
overwrite. Okay. And now I can do this here. Protect it.
Mm-hmm.
Static void. Right. Annotation and not allow here. Yes. You know why? Because I am inside the main method. So I have to be outside. Okay. So I have to be outside here. So now I can paste this. And now, you see? Okay. Wow. This is
No space, so you have more space. Wait, stop.
I'm trying to see what is the method that does override method. Okay, protect this static void print. Protect this static void print.
What is, again, what is this override? Is it a method within Java that is inherited within Java? What is override?
This is an annotation to override the method from the parent.
But from the standpoint of the language itself, what is it? How would you call that? It seems to be a new something.
No, override is to change the content of the parent guy.
Yes, I understand, but my question is, what is this @override? What is the?
It's an annotation. You're telling Java that you're going to overwrite a parent.
Okay, so it's an annotation. Okay.
Correct. Okay, but for some reason it's not print. It's not super. Okay, something here. One moment. Super. Print. Protected. Okay. Master. Print. Okay, we're trying to extend that from. I did it in my this. Okay. Okay. Did you put extends master? Okay. So override. In mine, it worked. It worked. So I could extend that class instead of putting this guy here. I tried to access that protected static method. Let me take a look at my common class. Protected. Okay, let me do something. Let me remove that static, right? And now I can say protected, and now it just overrides it. You see? Now that word static was not letting me do it. Now if I just, you see, Maria, we're trying to modify the original method. See here? That's what override. That's what override does. Okay. Now this one says protected, right? Now I'm going to see this out and say not protected. I'm just changing the content of that method. You see, I'm overriding the parent method coming from the parent class. That's this override notation is telling Java, right? This, I'm just changing the original method content. Okay, so now I just run this guy and I get not protected.
Why would static would not allow you to
because that way, I mean, it doesn't let you see it if you put static, because there you have to access it with the master and you cannot override it. It doesn't let you do it. You see, it doesn't show. If I put override, I'm sorry, static.
Then it gives you.
You can't. It won't let you. It won't let you override it, right? You see, protected, it won't let you. But as soon as you do remove this guy, because this annotation is not allowed if the method is static. Once you remove static, then it works immediately. Okay, and this is test 2, right? And of course,
no, you didn't. I don't think you run test still.
It's not gonna print anything because I deleted. Wait. No. It's not gonna print because I deleted the main method. The main method is the one that run it. If you don't have that guy, it would not. It would not work. Okay. You see, if I put this guy here, I would not be able to, you see? But now I have to do something maybe, yeah, I cannot call it from here. I can't. I cannot call a method from the static, you know? Probably I can do something. Probably I can just call a static method. No, I can't. I can't do that. Okay. I can't do that. I cannot call a non-static method from a static context. It won't work. Okay. But if I put static here, it is not overriding, right?
So how do you pass it then? Do you have to declare another variable and then pass it through?
You can call it. You can't. You have to create another static method, and you cannot override a static method. You can't. It simply can't. It's just the rule. You cannot override a static method. If I put static here, it won't let me override it. It says method that does override method from a superclass. Okay, but that's the point. The point is that you can override methods from a different class, from a parent class, right? And that way you can use it in another class. You don't have to use it in the class that has the main method. You can use it in another class. Okay, doesn't have to be the class where the main method is. All right. Okay. So basically overriding is just changing the context of that particular method in the pattern class. Okay. We're going to get to overriding. Don't worry. Overriding and overloading. Those are things that, features that you can have in Java. Okay. Well, guys,